everybody, to our Functional Fitness Friday. Thank you so much for coming in. My name is Quinn. I'm your health fitness specialist with Exos at Autodesk. All right, so we're going to have our warm-up phase here. We're going to be doing a little bit of lower body and upper body, two different circuits after a little bit of a warm-up, and then we're going to go into our stretching and guided breathing. Okay, so first things first. Silence that. Good, thank you. All right, first things first, we're going to get into our warm-up here. We're going to do straight leg kicks. Okay, so we're just going to be standing, hands out in front, and we're going to be kicking our legs straight up to our toes, getting a nice stretch out on the back side of the leg, trying to keep your chest and shoulders nice and tall. Not rounding out the back too much so that you get a nice stretch through the hips. A few more. And done. Good. Next up, we're going to do our lunge and twist. So I'm going to get down to my mat here, coming down onto one leg. I'm going to get my knees kind of nice 90-degree from the ankle up through the hip, and then I'm going to lunge that front knee forward, dropping my hips down and twisting my shoulders to the outside of that front leg. Getting a nice stretch through the front of our hip and switching sides. Getting a nice deep lunge, rotating to the outside of the forward leg. And coming back out. Good. Next up, we're going to go into our cat-cow. Get a little bit of spinal mobility here. So we're just going to pull the spine up towards the ceiling and dropping the belly button down, rounding out the back, and going back and forth between these two positions. Go one more each direction. And good. Staying in this hands and knees position, we're going to go into our quadruped cars, okay? So what we're going to do with our shoulders is we're just going to extend the arm out, reach back towards the hip, and coming back down to start. Switching hands. And moving back and forth through each arm, getting a nice big stretch forward, up, and behind. Let's go one more each side, last one. And done. Good. Next up, we're going to do our shoulder push-up, working on our retraction and extension of the shoulder. So we're just going to be lowering the chest down to the ground, but keeping the elbows locked out, pushing the chest away from the ground and lowering back down, making sure we're pulling those ears or the shoulders down away from the ears. Let's get a few more. And done. All right. Now we're going to start off with our lower body circuit here. So we're going to get our flat back on the ground, heels down as well. And we're just gonna use our heels to drive up into a glute bridge, all right? So we're starting off with our glute bridges. And here we're just gonna drive the hips up, creating a nice flat line from the shoulders through the hips to the knees. We're gonna hold at the top and then slowly controlled back down, hitting a tap and back up. Slow, control, drop down, back up. Get a couple more. Driving up. Last one. And done. Good. Next up, we're going to go into our clam shells. So laying onto our side, we're going to bend our knees behind, or bend our ankles behind the knees. We're going to get our elbow underneath. And like we would on a side plank, we're just going to extend the hips up and open up the knees as well. So pressing the hips up and opening up the knees as we come up. Getting some nice work on the bottom hip there. One closest to the ground. Should be feeling it on the outside. Let's get two more. And switch sides. All right, getting that elbow underneath the shoulder, popping the hips up, opening up as we drive up. Got a few more. And done. Very good. Next up, we're going to go to our reverse Nordics, okay? So we're going to get into a kneeling position here, standing nice and tall. From here, you're going to keep your trunk in line with the hips, and you're going to lean back and press off with the heel. So you can see I'm maintaining a straight line from my knees through the hips to the shoulder, going back until I feel the challenge, get a little challenge, and come back. Nice and easy, not pushing it too far here, just getting a little bit of a contraction. One more. And good. All right. Next up, we've got our Kickstand Rdls. So we're gonna pop one knee up, getting our toes gently on the floor, keeping our legs straight. We're gonna drive those hips back, folding down at the chest, keeping our back straight, stretching into that planted leg, and curling back up. Let's go two more. And switch legs. So other knees bent now. Good. All right. Last one of this circuit, we're going to do our bird dogs. So, getting down to our hands and knees, we're going to extend out and hold. Opposite hand and leg, getting nice and stable, coming down, switching sides. Very good. Finding that even pace so you can stabilize, get a little hold with that stability, and coming right back down. Let's go one more each side. And done. Good. Now we're going back to the top with our glute bridges, giving a little bit of a hold. Let's try and do 3 glute bridges with about a 10-second hold at the top, okay? We're ready and up. Getting a nice squeeze through the hips, driving up towards the ceiling, and down, and up again. Getting a nice hold at the top, nice and long, and coming down, and back up. Getting that nice flat line, and down. Good. Next up, we've got our clam shells. So flipping onto our side, getting our elbow below the shoulder. We're gonna open up, driving the hip up and open, coming back down. We're gonna do 5 each side. Five, and switching sides. Getting that elbow down. Opening knees up as the hips come up. One more. And 5. Very good. Okay, next up, we've got our reverse Nordics. So, getting onto our knees, standing nice and tall. We're going to lower the shoulders back and come back up, keeping a nice line all the way from the shoulders through the hips, through the knees. Very good. Let's go a few more. Last one. And golden. Good. Standing up, we've got our Kickstand Rdls. So, bending one knee, we're going to extend the hips back, pulling up. Keeping that one leg planted down, stretching through the hamstring. Two more. And switch sides. Few more. Last one. And good. All right, now we're going down for our bird dogs. So getting our hands and knees down, below the hips and shoulders. And we're extending opposite hand and leg out, holding, getting that stability, and switching sides. Nice even pace. Giving a little hold at the top, a little bit of a pause. Lock in that statue form and come back down. Let's go 2 more to each side. And nice job. All right, we're gonna do a quick upper body circuit before getting into our stretch and guided breathing. So first thing we're gonna do is our prone A's. So we're gonna lay down onto our chest, getting our hands by the hips. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the hands and chest up, punching our fists through the feet, extending the arms all the way down towards our toes, pulling the shoulder blades away from the ears, coming back down and popping straight up. So giving a nice hold, nice squeeze, really pulling those shoulders away, down and up. Let's go, 2 more. Very good. Oh, I lied, we're doing an extra one. And down, okay. Now we've got our prone overhead press. So we're gonna get our arms by our sides, bent, elbows down to the hips. So I'm having them right next to me, elbows are bent, pointed down towards my hips. Hands are at about shoulder level here. We're gonna pick the hands up and extend up above the head and come back down. Moving through, keeping our hands as level as we can, not letting them fall down below that pulled up level. Few more. Very good. All right, next up, we've got our shoulder taps, okay? So we're gonna get into a nice plank position here, feet back, knees up, popping up, and we're moving back and forth, bringing our opposite hand to shoulder. Nice and quick, getting that stability. Keeping those hips level with the shoulder. Moving back and forward. Almost there. And done. All right. Next up, we're going to go to some push-ups here. So if you'd like, you can keep your knees down and go nice and slow through the down phase. If you want more of a challenge, you can bring those knees back, pop up, and we're going to be hitting strict push-ups here, okay? So lowering down, timer's on. Nice, even working pace, folding those elbows down by the ribs. Keeping everything nice and tucked, not letting our arms flare out. Let's go a few more seconds. And done. Very good. We're going to finish this circuit out with a plank and then get into our stretching here. So hands down. We are going to bring our feet back, knees up, hips flat, and timer is on. We're going to hold for 30 seconds here. You know what? Let's make it 45. Push ourselves today on this fine Friday. Getting a 45-second plank, finish things out. Really focusing on your breathing. Just taking oxygen in and breathing out for 45 seconds. That's all we're doing here. Pushing the ground away, sucking that belly button up to the spine, keeping hips and shoulders level with each other. And rest. Nice job, everybody. We are going to slow things down and stretch things out, and then get into a little bit of guided breathing at the end here. So, first thing we're going to do is our pigeon pose. So I've got my knee forward, bent at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to extend my opposite leg back. And I'm going to lean forward, falling down into a stretch, getting my forearms down to the ground, and really trying to drop those hips back into the stretch, feeling it outside of my forward hip. Big deep breaths in. And switching sides. Getting our other leg forward, getting that 90-degree bend, falling the forearms down, sitting the hips back, and leaning into that stretch. All right, and coming out. We're just going to hit a quick child's pose before we get into our guided breathing. So hands out forward, staggered in front of the shoulder here, and you're just going to drop the hips back. Sitting back into our child's. And popping out. For the last few minutes here, we're going to do a couple of breathing circuits. Go ahead and lay down onto your mat. Sit crisscross, legged, or in a seated knee fold. I'm going to just lay on my back. First thing we're going to do is just give 2 big inhales. And exhale out. Inhale in. Exhale out. I'm going to try and get some circular breathing in and out. All the way in, breathing in. to the top of the lungs and breathing out through the hips, the belly button, all the way through, getting everything out. As soon as you get it all out, breathe in again. There's no stopping. Nice and continuous breathing in now. Okay, now we're going to breathe in, hold, and exhale out. Breathe in and out. Breathing in, holding at the top.